dim and foreboding corners of the paranormal, there exists a sinister conduit to the afterlife, an instrument of terror and intrigue known as the Ouija board. Crafted with letters, numbers, and cryptic symbols, it serves as a portal to converse with the spirits of the departed, allowing the living to beckon the ethereal from the shadows. In the dead of night, with trembling hands and racing hearts, brave souls dare to unlock its eerie potential to make a connection to the spectral world beyond. Things are about to get strange. Pulp culture.
Pulp culture.
Oh my gosh. Need a shirt that says pulp culture.
Hello, all you ghouls and goblins. Welcome to Conspiracy Weird, where we talk about conspiracy theories and just all things weird. I'm your host, Molly, and with me today is my husband, Josh.
Yo.
How you doing?
I'm good. We just had some
What do we have for a snack?
snack. It wasn't really much of a snack. It was more of a dinner. But
Din-din.
at dinner time, we had pizza. Well,
From where?
Pizza Hut pizza.
Pizza Hut.
Ninja Turtle pizza.
I wish.
Well, there was also breadsticks and...
Cinnamon sticks.
No, that was all you.
I know. Yay!
Yeah! So how are you all doing tonight?
Hopefully y'all are good. Stop creaking.
Sorry, this chair. Okay, I think I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Go let our cat out.
Oh, jeez. Talk to the people.
Hello, people. So yeah.
Wow.
How about those Mets?
Wow, it's really talking to the people.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
I might have to cut that out.
Probably.
Yeah.
Licensing.
Nobody really wants to hear that.
What?
I don't know.
Everybody wants to hear me sing.
I don't want to hear you sing.
Anyways.
Rude! So.
What are we talking about today, Josh?
Well,
Well,
if you were listening instead of laughing, you know we were talking about Ouija boards today.
I went to the bed because I couldn't stop laughing.
I have like 5 minutes of audio recording, just Molly laughing every time I go to open my mouth to do the introduction.
Well, it's your face. I'm kidding.
Wow. Rude.
You were rude first. Anyways.
So if you would like a shout out on the podcast, please feel free to donate to our snack time, to the snack fund.
Yep.
And we'll be happy to give you a shout out.
Or you can buy some merch.
Or if you want a sticker, just let us know.
Send us a DM. We have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
I think there's a TikTok.
And there's a TikTok.
There's like 2 videos.
There's 2 videos, but
we're slowly getting
we're working on it.
on everything.
We both have full-time jobs and 2 kids.
And 2 cats and a fish. And decaying bodies.
I have a chronic disease that is killing my body very slowly.
I have no excuse.
Nope.
You rub off on me badly.
What do I look like right now? Which?
Oh.
Anyways.
So Ouija boards.
Yes.
Well, I got Ouija boards.
Yes.
They're flat.
Yes.
The end. No. So okay, we got Ouija boards. What's the deal with Ouija boards?
You tell me.
I think I will. They're flat boards. They're marked with the alphabet, so A through Z. They got numbers 0 through 9. There's also 4 words on there. They say yes, no, and there's also hello and goodbye. And then you have uses a planchet as a movable indicator of the messages. So you put your hands on it, and then you all get in the dark and light candles and move it around as the ghosts tell you whatever messages they tell you. The popular belief is that the word Ouija, which looks like it's spelled Ouija, but it's Ouija. The popular belief is that it comes from the French and German words for yes. But you would be wrong. That's a misconception. The name is taken from a word spelled out on the board when its inventor asked a supposed ghost to name it.
You learn something new every day. One of the first mentions of the automatic writing method used in the Ouija board is found in China around 1100 AD. It was found in historical documents of the Song dynasty. The method was known as Fuji planchet writing. Did I say that right?
Yep, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. The use of this method as an apparent means of necromancy, I love that word.
It's a fun word.
It's a fun word.
Necromancy.
And communication with the spirit world continued. Under special rituals and supervision, this was a central practice of the, say that word,
Kwanzaa.
school. One more time.
Kwanzaa.
Until it's forbidden by the Qing dynasty. Is that how you say that?
I believe so.
I believe so. The board that became the Ouija was born in 1886 in Chestertown, Maryland.
Chestertown. Chester. Sounds like the name of a dog.
Well, Chester's the name of the lead singer of Linkin Park. Rest his soul. Was.
But, okay.
Rest his soul. We love you. It was named in 1890 in Baltimore, where it was manufactured. Ouija historian Robert Murch has been researching the story of the board since 1992. When he started his research, he said no one really knew anything about its origins, which he thought was odd. He states, for such an iconic thing that both strokes fear and wonder in American culture, how can no one know where it came from? Which is good point.
Curious. Very curious.
Curious and curiouser. Don't look at me weird. In February 1891, the first few advertisements started appearing in papers. The line was Ouija, the wonderful talking board. It was a hit at a Pittsburgh toy and novelty shop, with them describing the magical device that answered questions about the past, present, and future with marvelous accuracy. And
who determined the accuracy? That's
know.
what I want to know.
I'm just here, bro. And never failing amusement and recreation for all the classes. And a link between the known and the unknown, the material and immaterial. Another advertisement in a New York paper declared it interesting and mysterious, and testified as proven at patent office before it was allowed. Price $1.50, and now they're like $30.
Inflation.
Charles
Kennard. Kennard? I don't know. Neither way sounds. One sounds funny and one sounds wrong.
Messages if you know Charles Kennard.
Kennard.
He's from Baltimore,
Maryland. Charles Kennard of Baltimore, Maryland, acted on the rising fame of the Ouija boards. He pulled together a group of 4 investors, including Elijah Bond, a local attorney, and Colonel Washington Bowie, a surveyor, to start the Kennard Novelty Company to exclusively make and market the Ouija board. When they first started to talk about these new talking boards, they did not have a name for it. Murch, the historian, says that based on his research, it was Bond's sister-in-law that named it. She was a strong medium. They were sitting around a table and asked the board what they should call it. Ouija came through. When they asked what that meant, the board replied, "Good luck."
Aww. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well,
like, good luck.
Was,
dun, dun, dun.
I think it was more like they're not going to get an answer. Mm-hmm. Like, try again later, except the board said good luck. according to Murch's interviews with the descendants of the Ouija founders, and looking at the original Ouija patent itself, the story of how the patent was received was an interesting one. If they could now prove that the Ouija board worked, they could get the patent. The chief patent officer?
Chief patent officer.
Oh, man. I need somebody to... If you are interested in being a proofreader and helping us fix our
stuff,
our episodes, please inquire. You can find us on all social media.
We can send you snacks.
Yeah. So, all right, let's say okay. The chief patent officer demanded a demonstration. If I could find my place on our stuff, that would be great.
If the board could accurately spell out his name.
Well, I just found it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If the chief patent officer demanded a demonstration. If the board, not like the board of
education,
no, the flat board, the board game board, if the board could accurately spell out his name, which was supposed to be unknown to Bond and Peters, he'd allow the application to proceed. They all sat down, talked with the spirits, and the planchette spelled out where's patient again? Molly.
It's called autocorrect?
And the planchette spelled out the patent officer's name. It is not known if it was the spirits or the fact that Bond, a patent attorney, may have just known the officer's name. It's just unclear. But on February 20th, 1891, a visibly shaken patent officer awarded Bond a patent for his new game. If I have to read this word 20 more times, I'm going to flip. The first patent does not explain how the device works, just asserts that it does. That's kind of cool. That ended up being used as part of the marketing for the Ouija board. The fact that no one knew how it really worked. The company just wanted it to be a moneymaker, and it ended up being one.
By 1892, the Kennard Novelty Company went from...
Kennard.
We don't know. We're just going to say it both ways. Mind your business.
Sorry, Kennard.
If you're from that family, can you please message us? Because it'd be greatly appreciated. The Kennard, I don't know. Kennard Novelty Company went from one factory in Baltimore to two in Baltimore, two in New York, two in Chicago, and one in London. By 1983, Kennard and Bond were out. They felt like money was changing things, and there were some internal pressures as well.
This is affecting our friendship. Nothing should come between bros. That's it. We're leaving. Sorry. That just sounds funny to me. Keep going. I'm done.
I don't know why I'm here.
By this time.
Oh my God. By this time, William Fuld was running the company. He actually started as a worker on the ground floor and worked his way up. Good for him. In 1898, he licensed the exclusive rights to make the board with the blessing from Colonel Bowie.
Colonel?
I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
We should probably look this stuff up before we do these episodes.
The majority shareholder and one of the two remaining original investors. There was a boom for the company, and it created frustrations with those who've been on the board since the beginning, with public squabbling with who really invented the board. Fuld never claimed to be the inventor of the board, even though his obituary in the New York Times declared him to be. In 1919, Bowie sold the remaining business of the Ouija board to Fuld, his protege, for $1.
Not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal.
The board's instant and continual success, almost 120 years later, shows that it has a weird place in America's culture. It is logical that the board would find its greatest popularity in uncertain times, which is when people hold fast and look for answers anywhere. Mm-hmm. In 1910s and 1920s, it showed this. There was the devastation of World War I and the prohibition that made a surge of the Ouija board happen. During the Great Depression, the Fold Company opened new factories to meet the demand for the boards. In 1944, a single New York department store sold 50,000 of the boards in a 5-month period.
Damn.
In 1967, the year after Parker Brothers bought the game from the Fold Company, 2 million boards were sold, outselling Monopoly. That year had more troops going to Vietnam and had race riots in Newark, Detroit, Minneapolis, and Milwaukee.
I guess Monopoly didn't have a monopoly on the gaming world anymore. Strange Ouija stories also made frequent appearances in American newspapers. In 1920, National Wire Services reported that would-be crime solvers were turning to their Ouija boards for answers in the murder of Joseph Burton Elwell, a New York City gambler. This was frustrating to the police, as you would expect. Mm-hmm. In 1921, the New York Times reported that a Chicago woman being sent to a psychiatric hospital tried to explain to doctors that she wasn't suffering from mania, but that Ouija board spirits had told her to leave her dead mother's dead body in the living room for 15 days before burying her in the backyard.
Ooh.
Ugh. In 1930, newspaper readers read that 2 women in Buffalo, New York killed a woman, supposedly on the encouragement of Ouija board messages. In 1941, a 23-year-old gas station attendant told the New York Times that a Ouija board told him to join the army. I'll pass on joining the army. In 1958, a Connecticut court decided to not honor the Ouija board will of Miss Helen Dow Peck. She left only $1,000 to former servants and $152,000 to Mr. John Gale Forbes, a lucky spirit who contacted her via the Ouija board.
Ouija boards have offered literary inspiration. In 1916, Pearl Curran made headlines when she began writing stories and poems that she claimed were dictated via Ouija board. Today's equivalent, AI. No. Oh my God. She claimed that it was by a spirit of the 17th century English woman called Patience Worth. In 1917, Curran's friend Emily Grant Hutchings claimed that her book Jap Heron was communicated via Ouija board. Who helped her through the Ouija board? Well, none other than the late Mark Twain. Curran had a lot more success than her friend, but neither had the success that James Merrill did. He received the Pulitzer Prize for his work. In 1982, he wrote his Ouija-inspired and dictated poem, The Changing Light at Sandover, which won the National Book Critics Circle Award. Merrill did publicly imply that the Ouija board acted more as a magnifier for his poetic thoughts rather than as a hotline to the spirits. In 1979, he wrote Mirabelle, Books of Number, which was another Ouija creation. He told the New York Review of Books, "If the spirits aren't external, how astonishing the mediums have become."
Ouija has existed in popular American culture. It has often been seen as non-threatening. That was until 1973. In that year, one of the scariest horror movies ever released, The Exorcist, had a scene with a Ouija board in it. It wasn't that scary, but that's just me. The movie was supposedly based on a true story, and it changed the fabric of pop culture, which it did.
Pulp culture.
Pulp culture.
I like my orange juice with pulp. Pulp culture.
Pulp culture.
Oh my gosh. Need a shirt that says pulp culture with an orange juice on it.
Look at our merch shop coming soon.
Yeah, I'm totally designing that.
I'm into pulp culture.
Maybe I should put a Ouija board behind it.
Almost overnight, the Ouija board became a tool for the devil, and therefore a tool for horror writers and filmmakers to start using it in movies and books. Outside entertainment, the Ouija board started to get denounced by Christian organizations, and these Christian organizations saying that the board was Satan's preferred form of communication. I don't know how to say this word. In this city, in 2001,
Almangordo,
New Mexico was burning Ouija boards and bonfires along with Harry Potter, rude, and Snow White. Catholic.com says that the board is far from harmless. Well, I think as a recovering Catholic, they need to sit down, but...
Yes, because I get my news from Catholic.com.
Said no one ever.
Just the fact it's a website, I don't know.
In 2011, Pat Robertson declared on his show 700 Club that demons can reach us through the board. I think that's another person that needs to sit down. Hasbro, who acquired Parker Brothers, still sold hundreds of thousands of boards. The reason why, though, changed. Ouija boards are spooky rather than spiritual, with just a touch of danger.
But are they? Are they really?
Eh.
So, do Ouija boards really work? According to scientists, Ouija boards are not powered by spirits or demons.
No!
I love how we're talking about a spiritual or paranormal item, and yet the spiritualists are the ones telling us that they're... Or no, I'm sorry. But the scientists are the ones telling us that they do not... that they're not powered by spirits or demons. Like...
How do you know?
How would you know?
How do you know?
That doesn't... No. This doesn't add up.
Shun the non-believers.
Yeah, right?
Shun.
What they are powered by are the people using the board. Ouija boards work on the principle of the iodometer effect. In 1852, physician and physiologist William Benjamin Carpenter, thank you, a normal name, published a report for the Royal Institution of Great Britain. In this report, he examined the automatic muscular movements that take place without the conscious will or volition of the individual. Almost right away, other researchers saw applications of this effect in popular spiritualists' pastimes. In 1853, chemist and physicist Michael Faraday conducted a series of experiments that proved to him that the table's motion was due to the ideometer actions, or idiomotor. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Idiomotor actions of the participants.
Idiocracy?
You know, Dr. Chris French, a professor of psychology and these words.
I give you the hard stuff.
Yeah, clearly. Dr. Chris French, a professor of psychology and animalistic psychology at Goldsmiths, University of London, explains it can generate a very strong impression that the movement is being caused by some outside agency, but it's not.
I'm not.
The thing about these mechanisms we're talking about, dowsing rods, Ouija boards, pendulums, these small tables, they're all devices whereby require a small muscular movement that can cause a large effect. With Ouija in particular, the individual gives up some conscious control in the group. And because of this, no one in the group can take credit for the planchette's movements. This makes it seem like the answers to the questions are coming from the spirits or something not from this world. You know, I bet that if we actually did this experiment, we'd come up with like random things with words that don't even make sense.
Give Molly more babies.
No, it'd be like 9. Complete gibberish.
Aliens.
I want to believe, yeah.
Go with Big Four.
Give Molly more chocolate.
Even if... More like, give Molly more Dr. Pepper.
Again, if you want to, Dr. Pepper, if you want to sponsor us,
please,
rather sponsor Molly,
please,
we'd be glad to give you more shout outs on every episode.
Please, I drink you every day. Anyways.
It's not weird.
Even if there is a scientific reason behind the Ouija board, that still does not stop people from using it and thinking that there are supernatural forces behind it. Here are some well-known people who have used the Ouija board. Let's talk about Aleister Crowley, who we are going to be doing an episode on in the future.
Ooh.
Crowley was an occultist, ritual magician, artist, poet, novelist, and philosophist. Philosophist?
You said it right.
Cool. He had an admiration for the use of Ouija boards. Jane Wolfe, who lived with Crowley, also used the Ouija board and credits some of her greatest spiritual communications to the use of this. Crowley discussed the Ouija board with some of his students as well. Bill Wilson, the co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, used a Ouija board and conducted seances in an attempt to contact the dead. There were early reports that Vincent Furner's stage name, Alice Cooper, was agreed upon after a session with a Ouija board, during which it was revealed that Furnier was the reincarnation of a 17th century witch with that name. Alice Cooper revealed later that he just thought the first name that came to his head while discussing a band name with his band. So that didn't happen. In the murder trial of Joshua Tucker, his mother insisted that he had carried out the murders while possessed by the devil, who found him when he was using a Ouija board.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, Mom. E. H. Jones and C. W. Hill, while prisoners of the Turks during the First World War, used a Ouija board to convince their captors that they were mediums as part of an escape plan. In 1994, convicted murderer Stephen Young was granted a retrial after it was learned that 4 of the jurors had conducted a Ouija board seance and had contacted the murdered man, who named Young as his killer. Young was convicted for a second time at his retrial and jailed for life.
Your trials... You're so convicted that you got convicted twice.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
Fun facts! Do-do-do-do!
Rival boards similar to the Ouija board have launched and failed. Fold, one of the guys that took over the Ouija board, died in 1927 after a freak fall from the roof of his new factory. A factory he said that the Ouija board told him to build. Hasbro has released a glow-in-the-dark version of the board and is also planning on doing a more classic look as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Questions? Are
you
ready?
Questions. What are the questions? When will this chair stop creaking?
Do you think that Ouija boards work or not work? Shoot. There goes my phone.
It depends. I can ask the Ouija board, will my wife ever stop dropping her phone? And if it answers correctly, no, then I know it works. Well, we haven't tried it yet.
Would you want to buy a Ouija board and try it with me?
Yeah, if somebody would donate to the snack fund or buy more merch, then yeah, that'd be great.
So if you want to see us get possessed by a demon through a Ouija board...
They don't get possessed. The ghosts talk to them. You're communicating with the dead.
So if you want to see us have some fun with
communicating with the dead in the dark with a candle.
I'd like to ask my dead dad some questions.
Yeah. First off,
Dick.
How dare you? How dare you? And then just that's it.
That's it. The disrespect!
If you could touch him, you would slap him.
I would.
And then it would be over. That's all I needed. Thanks. Go away, Dad.
Thanks. Go away, Dad. No one wants you here. Stay away from me like you did the rest of my life.
Do what you do best.
Stay
away.
Stay away. Hashtag.
Leave and never come back.
Hashtag daddy issues. Someone donate money so I can get some therapy. Thank you. We may never know if the Ouija board helps you speak to the spirits, or if it's just a game that the participants control. It may just be wishful thinking that we can speak to family and friends who have passed on. One would wish that the Ouija board was a communication from the spirits, bringing us comfort from beyond the grave. Stay weird, y'all.
We want to thank you for tuning in. You can find us on all your favorite social platforms by searching Conspiracy Weird, posting photos and details from each episode. Please consider keeping our tummies full by donating to the Snack Fund. Donations will be given a shout out on the podcast. Special thanks to audionautics.com for the theme music. And remember, question everything.